Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Okay, well, we have some exciting news. Who likes chocolate? Oh, everyone likes chocolate, but there's a lot of things about chocolate you don't have to even feel guilty about. And Roberta Hladek, who is my guest now on the radio, calling in, of course, from she's calling from Las Vegas, Nevada. She is the co-founder of the Energetic Matrix Church of Consciousness, which is EMC Square. It's a whole energy process and I'm a member of the AIM program. It's energeticmatrix.com if you want to look it up. But she writes lovely articles for us from time to time, and I just received one on chocolate, dark chocolate. So tell us, it's going to be a day when people are going to be buying chocolate for everyone. So I don't like to time this in case I use your show again. So we don't want to say what day's coming up, but people do like to buy chocolate, and they probably don't buy the right kind. You know, there's I never eat milk chocolate, by the way, never again anymore.
Yeah.
Do you?
No, I don't, and I do like to have a little chocolate from now and again. And I was doing some research on different things, and I came across some information on dark chocolate. And actually, my sister works at a retirement home up in Oregon. And one of the guys there, and she said he's in like the best shape of anybody there, and he's running around and hiking, and he's in his late 80s. And he has chocolate. He brings this tube of powder to her and has her put it in his milk every morning for him when he orders his breakfast.
Yeah.
And so she starts talking to him about it, and she said, you need to look into this. So I said, okay. And it's dark chocolate, and it's like powder. It's like cocoa powder, I guess. So it's very much a concentrated. You can get it sweetened, or you can get it unsweetened. I've been using it unsweetened, but I never knew the great qualities that the chocolate has in it. And it's the flavonoids that are in the chocolate itself. And if you eat 1 ounce of 70% cocoa or higher, and you can even get this at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has, if you have a Trader Joe's by you.
Yes, and they do.
Or
You're
Sprouts,
right. Yeah, they're right.
Or Whole Foods.
Right.
They have all the different chocolates, and you can get it really high quality chocolate there, and it's not super expensive either. And if you have just a little ounce of it every day, it can reduce skin cancer, heart disease, chronic fatigue, memory loss. That's the big one. You know, I hear people all over talking about, gosh, I can't remember anything. What's going on with me? And they're doing all sorts of brain exercises and stuff. Well, maybe this can help too. It also helps with depression and muscle aches. So why not? You know, it can also, it's saying that it can help us with short-term memory loss. So if you know someone that's having issues with memory, it can decrease mental fatigue and also increase your attentiveness. So that's pretty cool, just in a little bit of cocoa. I've been using a cocoa powder, and I put it in my coffee every morning.
Really?
It took a little getting used to, but I do like it now. So it's a pretty cool thing. So I've been doing it for a couple months now, and I have noticed that my memory is increasing, and I'm not super achy after I work out. So I'm working on it, so we'll see.
Well, it's interesting that you talk about that because I used to take that chocolate and I used to put it in, I don't know why I did this, in salads. I would cut up in salads, and if you take that and you add some of the dressing, you know, it's really a very interesting taste because it added some sweet stuff, and people aren't used to it. I don't use a lot. But if you take some of it and put it in there, it is very interesting.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Because, you know, I don't use sweet dressings.
Right.
So if you use, and any of the dressings that are like balsamic or something, and you just add a few, like I'll also add nuts, but if you add some little chocolate, I don't call them, I guess, shavings. I just add some shavings to it. It's a very strange thing. So try it and see what you think.
I'm going to give it a shot because I do use sesame seeds and all different things in my salad. So
exactly.
I make it more like a meal.
Exactly.
But, I'll try that because this was interesting, and you can buy the chocolate powder in little single-serving packages and stick them in your purse or your briefcase or what have you. And it also comes in capsules, and you can take it in a capsule. But I'd rather put it in my coffee, and it's just a really nice flavor to my coffee in the morning. I don't know about putting it in a glass of milk. I don't drink milk, but I guess you could put it in your soy milk or your coconut milk, maybe in a smoothie. My other half puts it in his smoothie. He doesn't drink coffee, so he puts it in his smoothie in the morning.
Oh.
And so, it's an interesting thing. I'm testing it to see how I feel, and I really do think I feel better. And I've noticed with him, his blood pressure goes up and down, and his blood pressure has been totally stable. So I think it's helping. Yeah.
Well, actually, my husband used to drink red wine. He'd have a glass or two at night with dinner, and he felt that was a very important thing, and he loved chocolate. I mean, he would, I don't think he would stick with something that dark, but just give him chocolate ice cream, give him chocolate cake, and I always tried to get the dark stuff, but he was there's something in chocolate. It's the cacao, isn't it, or whatever it comes from?
Yeah, and I think that it elevates our mood. I know that. You know, if you're feeling down, you have a little bit of chocolate. It sure makes your day go a lot better, doesn't it?
That's right. Well, anyway.
But the red wine, too. You know, I have a friend of mine. He's 89, and he had a triple bypass last year. And he said the doctor told him that he could have red wine if he was going to have a drink. Only red wine, no white wine.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I don't drink wine, but I know my husband always had that red wine, and of course he lived to be 93, so it must have been really good for him too. So anyway.
Bless his heart.
Yeah,
that's great.
I know. Okay, so now I did want to tell you something, and I don't know if I shared this with you when I was saying that you were calling in from Las Vegas, Nevada. You know there's a Las Vegas, New Mexico. Do you know that?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Did I tell you this already once before?
No, you didn't. I just happened to know.
Well, in Las Vegas, the other Las Vegas, there is a planetarium. Well, there's a community where we went on a press trip, and what they do there is it's very dark. Maybe it's dark where you are, too. It's very blackout. And they have a big telescope, a real big telescope. And it attracts people who want to see the stars, and, they want to see the planets. So there was when we got finished, it was like 3 or 4 days. It was a lot of fun. It was wonderful. And they had shirts that you buy. They had some were heavier shirts, and I wanted to buy one so I could remember it. And my husband said, "You're never going to be able to use that in Florida." And I said, "Oh, yes, I will." And I'll tell you, it has a hood, and it's so warm. And I use that, so I think of it all the time. I have it on the front. But it's very, when you say Las Vegas, you never think of another place other than your Nevada.
Yeah, you don't hear about Las Vegas, New Mexico very often, do you?
No, how do you know about it?
I happened to Google Las Vegas one time, and it came up. And I thought that was interesting.
Right.
But I've been to New Mexico. I've been, to different areas of New Mexico, but never to Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Yeah.
But that sounds really interesting because that would be really a fun little trip to take.
Oh, it is, and that's what they wanted. And so I wrote a big story about it, and we stayed in the houses, and it was so dark, but it attracted those kind of people. So a lot of fun people there that wanted to see everything. And now, is it very dark where you are? Not particularly, because there are lights in the city.
Yeah, pretty dark out where I am. I'm about 20 miles away from the Strip. So it does get pretty dark out there, and we're pretty high up. We're about 3,200 or 3,300 feet up.
Oh, I see.
So we're a little higher than the Strip. I think the Strip's 21 or 22, something like that. So we're a little higher up. So, yeah, it's a little darker. And my community where I live, they don't have as many street lights either.
Right.
So it can be very dark.
Well, that's great unless you're visiting someone and you're trying to find their house.
Yeah, that's true. And you're not used to it being dark. That's
that's
sure.
right. So Siri does a good job when that happens, because you say, okay, I want to go to this place, and Siri finds it. But that's happened to me lately. We have a lot of communities that are not really well lighted. A lot of the gated communities, and everybody knows where everybody lives. But if I'm invited somewhere, I have a heck of a time. But if I get Siri on there, she'll say, okay, it's turn here. You're now there.
Aw. What would we do without her?
That's true. Well, I don't know. I think there's somebody else that there's another thing like that, is it with?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I use my Google Maps.
Yeah, right.
And then I have another one too that I use, and then I have a navigation system in my car that I use too. But a lot of times I just resort to my phone.
All right. So it speaks to you though?
Yes.
Oh.
Both of them.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of amazing, isn't it? I still can't get over that.
I know.
When Stephen was here, was that there? Because Siri wasn't. Bill's been gone now over 2 years, and maybe it was, but I didn't use it because he used to be very upset with me when I'd go driving and I didn't really know the exact place. I had an idea where it was. He said, "Why don't you get directions before we leave?" I said, "Well, I'll find it." But if I had Siri, it would have made him so happy and relaxed.
Well, I think Siri was around then, but I don't think we were all using it as much as we do now.
Right.
It seems like more and more we're relying on technology to do our thinking for us.
Yes. And Stephen, of course, he's been gone, 4 years now?
I believe it's going to be 3.
Oh, 3?
I think it's going to be 3 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was close to when, Bill passed away. So
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we miss them and we think back on a lot of these things. In fact, I keep discovering all sorts of papers and things. I haven't really cleaned out his desk, and I'm not ready to do that. But every once in a while, I find some things. I said, "Wasn't that nice?" Does that happen to you now? Do you still find things from Stephen?
Yeah, we've left his office here. And a lot of times I'll be back there testing because that's where my testing computer is. And I'll find something. And, it's kind of odd, but a couple weeks ago I was testing and I was having the worst time finding it. It was like skirting around. It was just some days it's just really easy. Everything just pops up and it's just like clockwork. And this was one of those days I was like, what am I missing? I'm missing something. I thought, I'm just going to give Steve a call. And then I went, nope, can't do that.
Huh? And what happened?
It was kind of funny. And then I thought, okay, I'm just going to sit here for a minute, and I'm going to go, okay, how would Steve find this? What would he tell me?
Yeah.
And I did find it.
Huh? Yep.
So maybe he sent some airwaves to me. Brainwaves.
Maybe. One never knows, does one?
You never know, do you?
So why don't we catch up on the kinds of things that are happening there? Is there anything new that you have found or that you're checking?
Well, I've been finding kind of a lot of stuff, actually.
Oh.
And just a lot of different things. Nothing in particularly one specific area, but there is one frequency that I kept finding the other day in everyone. It was like very common, and it was in our newsletter. Let me see when it was in. It was in the newsletter a couple of weeks ago, and it affected the immune system, central nervous system, and kind of pretty much all over our bodies. And I noticed that a lot of people were saying, gee, I'm feeling a lot better. And then a couple of weeks ago, I caught a cold, or I thought thought it was a cold. And it was I was just not finding it. And finally, last Thursday, I found it in the afternoon, and I had to go into a meeting at 4. And by the time I was finished with the meeting, I was pretty much clear. And I thought, oh, finally I found it. And it helped so much. And I had heard a lot of people telling me that they had this cold, flu, whatever was going on, and they're not on AIM. One of the guys was in the meeting, and he said, oh, my God, I've had this thing for 4 weeks. And I thought, well, I'm lucky I've only had it for a week and a half.
And what is it?
It was in the sinuses, and it was just a viral infection, I guess, or frequency or, error. That I found, and it was not in the database, but I found it in me, and as soon as I got it on the program, it hit, and it was so great. I was feeling really good. Now, that doesn't always happen, but evidently I had gotten to the bottom, and I needed to find this one other puzzle piece to my cold, and I found it, and boy, it made 100% difference in me.
Really?
And that's how fast the frequencies sometimes on AIM can work. Sometimes you'll wake up in the morning and maybe not feel on top of your game. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're feeling a little down. Maybe you're feeling anxious, whatever it happens to be. And then in a couple of hours, you forget about it and you go, wow, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
So it can happen that we clear things pretty quickly with those frequencies being available to us.
So how do you know? Do you have to go on to your computer to know that there's some new frequencies?
Yes. I check usually every day. And if someone, like sometimes one of the girls in the office, or I get special rechecks, they'll ask me if I could take a look at them, that they're having an issue. And they have to be on AIM for almost a year in order for us to find the new stuff. Otherwise, I just find what's already in the database, and a lot of times you aren't going to allow me to see what I need to see to find if there's something not in the database.
Oh, really?
So I like you to clear out all of that, and then we can see what is left over and what's still, if you're still having a challenge, and then I can find something possibly that's not in the database. If it is in you and it's not in the database, I'll find it.
Well, that certainly is that's pretty nice. I mean, that you're able to do that. It's just, let me ask you, does it ring bells when you find something? Does it go beep, beep, beep? Or how do you know something's happened?
Well, on the website, we have a video which shows Stephen testing, and you hear the sound of the computer. And if it's really high and we have a graph, and if it goes all the way to the top, it's a negative. And if it goes lower than that, and we can kind of tell by the sound, then it's a positive. And so when I'm testing and I'm going through the pages, and if it says no, 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 and I know that there's something still there, and I'm going to keep looking, then we also have a page that asks, is there something not in the database? And if it says yes, then I've got to try and find out what is that and find the algorithm for it in order for me to add the frequencies to the computer so that everyone on AIM has access to those frequencies when they're broadcast.
Yep, that's a big responsibility. Is there someone that you could turn all this over to if something were to happen to you? I hate to even say that, but, Stephen had you. Who do you have?
That's a good question.
I'm
still
sorry.
Looking for someone.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm hoping that at some point in time that I had thought it would be my niece, but she's gone on to do other things. So I'm hoping that at some point in time someone will show up in my life and will be interested in this work and be diligent enough to want to work with it.
Yeah, because it's so important. I mean, I was thinking about this. It's not the same as something happened to me. This is just, it's magazine radio, but you have, you carry a lot of people on your back, in a sense, important things. And so you have to, I'm sure you have everything written out, but you have to have somebody who has your brain power, who's been experienced. And so that's interesting. It might have to be someone that's not related to you or that you just find that loves what you do, person into this energy work.
Yeah, and it has to be someone you can trust.
Yeah.
Because it's a big responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
And if it's someone that doesn't have the best interest of AIM in mind, then it could be not a great thing.
Oh, right, definitely.
So
it
is a responsibility, and it is something that it's a love of the work, and you have to have your heart in it. And if your heart isn't in it, because testing is not something you have to kind of remove yourself. And a lot of times I've watched people learning to test, and they go, well, the person might say they're feeling depressed or whatever, and they'll think immediately it's a particular frequency because that's one of the modalities of that frequency. But you can't do that, because you don't know if it's that one. It could be a million other things in there that have similar modalities to that frequency. So you can't guess what they have, and you can't guess how they're feeling, and you just can't. You have to remove yourself, and you have to listen to what that, being present with that frequency and whoever that is that you're testing. And it's kind of it's a hard thing to teach. You have to kind of have that that little part of you that can work that way, I guess. It's kind of like with you with the radio, too, and your writing. There's not a lot of people that can bring out in someone like you can and make someone feel comfortable when they're talking to you. And I've interviewed with a lot of people, and there's some people that put you on edge, or they don't make you feel comfortable, and there you can't speak and talk about what it is that you like to do or about the AIM program. And you have a real great way of doing that, and there's very few people with that gift.
Well, thank you. You made my day today.
So it'd be hard to replace you.
Well, yeah.
Very hard to replace you.
Not the same as what you have. Your computer is very high. I mean, it's just way up there in the world. It's not something that you can't teach someone that. There's whatever, but I'm so happy that you're feeling well, though, right? There's no danger of our losing you.
Yes. No. I feel great. There's nothing wrong with me.
Oh, I'm so glad. And so are you, well, I really hate to talk about Valentine's Day, but I guess I just have to, even though I like to play your show sometimes. But what are you doing for Valentine's Day? Do you know yet?
I don't know, because my other half is out of town. So,
oh, really? For tomorrow, too?
Yeah, he probably won't be back until sometime over the weekend. He's working out of town. So, we'll probably do something when he comes back. I've never been a person that he'll probably send me flowers or something like that. He always acknowledges me on Valentine's Day for sure.
Well, that's nice.
But I'm not really a person that likes to go out on Valentine's Day for dinner or anything, because it's always so busy.
Yeah, you don't know. But cards are nice,
Sure.
and things that just. And it's just such a special time, though, when they should. Of course, I always say you should show love every day, not just wait for Valentine's Day.
No. You should do that all the time.
Exactly.
What are you going to do?
Well, tomorrow night, I am going to a theater presentation, but that's nothing. I had a lovely card from one of my sons, but I don't know. You know what I could do? It's funny you should ask me that. I've had a lot of Valentine's cards, and I keep everything in boxes, the boxes of a lot of my cards. I ought to go through some of the boxes and find some of the Valentine cards that Bill sent me. Wouldn't that be sweet?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, you made me think of that.
That would be really fun.
Yeah, I may do that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I always keep all my cards, too, so I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No, but and I have them, of course, mixed for birthday.
And you got little Charlie.
Oh, that's right. He's my Valentine. Absolutely. He's my Valentine. Well, I've had him on. I haven't bothered you with this, but he's had a lot of struggle with his back legs, and now he has. The vet put him on. I want to say medical marijuana, but whatever it is, it's marijuana with a prescription from the vet, and boy, it really has helped.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard about vets giving the marijuana now, but they have been doing for horses, I heard.
Mm-hmm. That's what I heard, too. And it's been, I use a cream that has the CBD oil in it, and I was using it for my shoulders, and my physical therapist had told me to continue using it after my therapy appointments with him and when I do my exercises, and it worked amazingly well. It was incredible.
Someone gave me some also. I haven't used it. I haven't needed to do that, but I think it is wonderful. I mean, we're loving this whole thing because it's natural and it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and as long as it works, and you see so many of our blessed veterans using it, and it's helping them so much.
I know it is.
It's an incredible thing for them.
Well, Roberta, the time has come again. It never is long enough, but I'm still threatening to come out to Las Vegas one day. And I am going to come out there. I really am. And you're high on my list there because I haven't been there for many, many years, and I would love to do that, but I have to figure out why and when and whatever. But I thank you for being so sweet and being there. And we'll talk again. And happy Valentine's Day, since I said it anyway.
Well, happy Valentine's Day to you, too, and thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, I'll go through my card picking. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye-bye.